ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking back shit. Subscribe.
Called eyeshadow, or I don't know the makeup word. Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Marvel Legends discussion video. And today, I wanted to talk about the return, or the potential return, of the dark days of Marvel Legends. And I know people are going to come up with their conspiracy theories around me making this video. Some people are going to say I'm shilling for the fences over here, trying to get people to think, hey, it could be worse. It could be worse. So make sure you buy all the Marvel Legends you can right now. And oh, speaking of which, if you are trying to buy your Marvel Legends, you can do so at big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below. Hey, what better time to throw that in there? But yeah, some people think, hey, I'm making this to shill, and others will probably think I'm making this video to hate on Marvel Legends and just get easy clicks and get that YouTube revenue. I don't care what your conspiracy theories are. I wanted to make a YouTube video talking about the dark days of Marvel Legends because I was inspired by this comment right over here, and it got 125 likes. This amazes me. It says, people don't want to admit it, but we are in a new Marvel Legends dark age. Wow. And 125 people agreed. Now, I think that video got somewhere around 5,000 views. I don't remember, but I disagree with this. I think I responded saying something along the lines as, I think we have one foot in the door to Marvel Legends, to the dark days of Marvel Legends, and I don't think we're totally there yet, and I kind of wanted to make my case. But, you know, we can't agree on stuff. Another thing to note is, how long has this person been collecting? I have no idea. But I can tell you that I started collecting in 2003, and I have never stopped collecting Marvel Legends. Now, there have been slumps where I bought less figures, but I never stopped. Since 2003, collecting all the way through, 19 years of collecting. So I think that opinion and others that have been collecting since 2003 or 2002, you know, I think that holds certain value for those collectors that just started a year or two ago. I think there's a different kind of value to those opinions. Not all opinions are created equal. Sorry, you know, in this social media age, we like to think all opinions are equal, but they are not. Experience matters, man. It does. But anyway, we're never going to agree on what exactly, if we're in that dark age or not. I know that. But again, this is my opinion, and feel free to share your opinion. Now, we can't even agree on what the golden age of Marvel Legends was, right? Like, you could say maybe the Toy Biz era during Series 6 was the golden age. I do think a lot of us agree with the idea of the Apocalypse wave kind of being the golden age of Marvel Legends. I don't know. I feel like this was a really, really awesome wave. So I don't know exactly. We could disagree on that, but I feel like most of us were really happy with this wave right over here. I can say for sure, though, for me, this year has kind of been a slump for Marvel Legends for me, because for the first time in a long time, I've just passed. Like, the re-release of the Loki figure. No reason for me to get that figure at all whatsoever. That's really discouraging that we have releases like that. Or the Falcon figure, you know? Like, there's several of these figures that have come out recently that make me feel like, this is kind of definitely a dark time for Marvel Legends. But then I also have my HasLab Galactus, and there's nothing dark about that figure at all. You know, that figure, man, I love it. I love that figure so much. But I think we can mostly all agree that the dark ages of Marvel Legends, the dark days of Marvel Legends, ran from the time that Hasbro took over in 2007, and I think 2014, for me, is when I think the dark ages of Marvel Legends actually stopped. I feel like that's where it ended. People are going to disagree on this. Again, we're not all going to agree on the same thing over here. But anyway, Toy Biz, they did have some slumps, I feel like, before they stepped away from Marvel Legends. But they left on a high note with the Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave And I felt like the Face Off series was actually pretty badass. So they left on a high note. However, in 2007, it begins the time of Hasbro, and this is where I think the dark days of Marvel Legends really started, was when we got the news of the Annihilus wave. Now, what really discouraged me about this wave right off the bat was the packaging. I did not like the packaging. It was very discouraging. Now, you also have to realize that there were people that worked on the Toy Biz Marvel Legends figures that also worked on these figures right here. That Planet Hulk is a retool. I'm fairly certain Hercules was in development during the Toy Biz days, and maybe that Beast. But this was not a very popular wave, or this was not a wave that I was really that thrilled about, to be honest with you. Like, the Emma Frost was, oh my god, that's one of the worst Marvel Legends of all time, right? They've re-released that character, re-released that figure a couple of times now, thankfully. Banshee was actually my favorite figure from the wave, aside from the Annihilus. The Annihilus Build-A-Figure actually did a lot for me. I enjoyed that Annihilus Build-A-Figure. There was an Ultimate War Machine running change right there. That Ultimate Iron Man I thought was awful. Planet Hulk I wasn't that excited about. Hercules was one of the better figures from the wave, so I feel like Annihilus, Banshee, and Hercules were like the only three that I actually really wanted. I think I'd gotten that Emma Frost just because I wanted the character, but I was upset. I think the diamond variant, the clear plastic variant, was the one that I had picked up back then. But overall, this was pretty disappointing, and right out the gate, I was like, oh no, man, is this the end of Marvel Legends? But it wasn't the end. Now, I may have some of these waves out of order, but I'm pretty sure I have these first couple of waves in order over here. And wave 2 was the Blob wave. Again, fairly disappointing wave, but they had a Build-A-Figure that made me happy. And we still had Toy Biz people working on this wave. I believe we had Toy Biz sculptors working on the Blob figure itself, along with the She-Hulk, and maybe that Thor too. I don't have all the details, but this was a mix of Hasbro and Toy Biz sculptors involved here. We have that Bullseye body mold being reused on 2 figures here, the Quicksilver and the Yellow Jacket, which we had running changes of, or variants for those two. But oh my god, the Jean Grey figure, that Ultimate Wolverine figure, and even the Juggernaut, oh man, those I thought were pretty bad. The Thor figure was okay. There's so lack of ankle pivot with that figure. That was really disappointing. Zorn was okay. Like, for me, I was stoked to get the Blob more than anything else. And to this day, I think that Blob is probably going to hold up against the new one. I'm not that thrilled about that leaked image of the new Blob figure. I don't really like to talk about leaks too much, but it's been everywhere already for a while now. And I got to say, that doesn't look like it's going to be better than this one, but I'll have to wait and see. But for right now, But anyway, I'm happy with the Blob figure that I have. Quicksilver was a must-get. I had to get She-Hulk, and I had to get Zorn. I also got the Yellow Jacket figure, and that had a variant too, which was like really weird. It's just slightly different colors of yellow. I thought that was kind of strange, but anyway, I ended up painting mine gold, and that still, to me, that counts as a letdown if I have to paint the whole thing over. So this was a disappointing wave. This is how bad we had it back then. Oh man, and then we had the Brood wave, another disappointing wave for me. I was just cherry picking over here. I remember being bummed out. I think Black Knight and Danger and Marvel Girl were the 3 that I picked up. I didn't even really care to get the Brood Build-A-Figure at that time. I think later on I bought that loose. But I remember cherry picking, just going with Black Knight and Marvel Girl. I just got the regular version of Marvel Girl. I didn't even pick up the Hydra Soldiers. I thought those figures were whack. The Cyclops I picked up way later on. I still don't even have that Colossus figure. The first appearance Cap I thought was horrible. Bucky I ended up picking up because I was interested in the articulation, and that's actually one of the better figures from that wave. But Danger I had to repaint the whole thing over, so that counts as a letdown. And the fact that I didn't even want the Build-A-Figure at that time, I got it later. I may not have ever gotten it if I didn't get it on a deal, but that Build-A-Figure is actually not that bad. The bendy wires and the tentacles are actually pretty cool. So that's actually not even an awesome, that's not even an awful figure. So But still, definitely deep in the dark days of Marvel Legends, or the Dark Ages. Now, this is where I get my timeline screwed up, because I remember being just very disappointed in the line right here. The Ronin Build-A-Figure wave had a lot of letdowns in it, like all of those Fantastic Four figures. I think I just passed on all of them completely. The only figure I picked up from this wave was Mole Man. I had passed on that Silver Surfer. I mean, oh, the Namor, jeez. Mole Man was the only one that I got. I think that's the only one I picked up. Mr. Fantastic, I bought off of Fernando way later on, and he'd customized that. I had never picked up the Human Torch thing, or I think the thing I'd actually bought later and then resold, but I really just wanted the Build-A-Figure Ronin. So for me, this is only two figures that I wanted. Ronin and, I think I picked up the Doctor Doom also, but that may have been later. No, I didn't get that Doctor Doom. No, got the re-release version, that's right. So Mole Man and Ronin were the only two that I really wanted from this wave. The Silver Surfer, Savage Surfer, that's the Silver Surfer from there, I thought looked horrible. No ankle pivots on most of these. Really dark time. We lost ankle pivots in this era right here. This is actually as we're getting deeper into the Dark Ages. 2007, it didn't start dark, you know what I mean? Anyway, so going into the Spider-Man 3, Sandman Build-A-Figure wave, this was another dark time. I remember just not being interested in this wave at all. This was just, like, all the figures that I got from this wave, I got later on. I was gifted the Build-A-Figure recently in Utah, thank you so much. And I still don't have all of these figures, and nor do I have an interest in getting. A bunch of these were re-releases, it looked like, from the Toy Biz days. That Venom was probably the best figure from that whole set, I think. The Spider-Mans didn't even come out right, even though I think one of them was a re-release. Oh, God. Yeah, so that I thought was an awful wave. Jeez, absolutely one of the worst waves of Marvel Legends, I think. So, yeah, we're definitely in the dark times over here. Then we had the Fin Fang Foom wave, which may have come out a little bit earlier than the other two. I'm not 100% sure. But you also have to think about the time that we were in. This is we're getting close to 2008, 2009 at this point, and we were going through a recession at that time, and I remember these figures went up to like $16, and before that they were like 10 or 11 bucks. So this was outrageous for me. I remember I was pissed. I was really pissed off. I was feeling like how a lot of us are feeling right now about the price increases with Legends, and it was just frustrating, but the quality here was just so bad. I don't think we have any ankle pivot on any of these figures. And if you don't like ankle pivot on your figure, man, I don't know what is wrong with you. Like, how could you not want your figures standing with the feet flat on the floor? That is bizarre to me. If you think ankle pivot's overrated, that's weird, you know? But whatever, dude. If you want a whole collection of vanilla posed figures, that's up to you, right? Anyway, from this wave, Absorbing Man was a must-get for me, and that's actually the first Marvel Legend I actually ever reviewed on my YouTube channel. Coming up on 14 years, November 18th, I think, is the birthday. I may take a change on the channel and get a little bit more, or I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, the Hulks from this wave, I was disappointed in. The Doc Samson was one that I wanted. I think Doc Samson and Absorbing Man were the two. Scar, Son of Hulk, I got that one later on. I think Wendigo was another good one for me. So there was a couple of good ones over here, but for the most part, I was really bummed out about it, and I wasn't even going to try to build that Fin Fang Foom at $16 a figure. That was ridiculous. I ended up buying the Fin Fang Foom for a really good deal later on. So I bought that later, and there's still some figures here from this wave that I will probably never own. Those Hulks just looked so bad. Oh, God. But I'm pretty certain that not one figure from this wave has ankle pivot or double-jointed elbows. Ugh. Jeez. Oh, man. So frustrating. And then after that, you can hear my computer processing this video as we do this, but we got the Red Hulk wave, which was a Target exclusive, and actually one of the waves where I was like, hey, this isn't so bad. Now that Red Hulk, I wasn't happy with, and I think this actually came out after the 2-packs, so I think I got my order wrong over here. But the Red Hulk, I wasn't interested in. No ankle pivot, and the McGinnis look I thought was just way too strong there. I did pick up the Black Suit Spider-Man and the Wolverine and the Spiral. Those were, oh, and Adam Warlock. So that gave me hope, but the fact that the Build-A-Figure was really discouraging for me, that bummed me out, you know. But hey, you know, I still really like the Spiral figure. I'm looking forward to the new Spiral figure, but this Spiral figure is actually one of the best figures to come out during the dark days of Marvel Legends. Adam Warlock, we still need a new Adam Warlock for sure. No ankle pivots except for the Wolverine, which was an old, you know, reused body mold. Union Jack, I'm glad they redid that. That was a disappointing figure too. So anyway, yeah, still in the dark days of Marvel Legends for sure over here. And then it seemed like we lost the Build-A-Figure waves for a little while. This 2-pack right here, thank you, Sean Long. He gifted me the Valkyrie figure, and later on somebody gave me the McGinnis Hulk right there. I remember, so I've never spent money on this 2-pack. Like I remember being very discouraged by this. We have a bunch of 2-packs over here that I thought were pretty lame. This is, oh god, the Elektra Ronin 2-pack. I ended up going with this one right here because at least it was a different character, not Elektra. We had the Iron Man Maria Hill 2-pack, and they had a variant for that one with the Sharon Carter. Interesting to have new characters, but those Iron Mans were disappointing. The Deadpool Warpath 2-pack was actually the dopest of the 2-packs from this era, but I remember longing for having full-on waves, and these are all TRU exclusives if I remember right, maybe not all of them. This is a horrible 2-pack, more bad Fantastic Four figures. Jesus, that Invisible Woman is so freaking ugly, really bad. And then the Fantastic and this was a redone. I think this was like a Toy Biz redone Mr. Fantastic figure. I never got my hands on this. I've actually like never touched this particular Mr. Fantastic figure ever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just a retooled Series 5 Mr. Fantastic with a new head on there, or maybe not even that. And then the Thing figure from the previous Fantastic Four wave. So yeah, definitely still in the darkest of times of Marvel Legends, I think. This was a very bad time. I felt like the line was dying. And then we got a new wave of Marvel Legends. And that made me happy that we got a new Build-A-Figure wave. So this was cool to see. However, a lot of figures that disappointed me, and no ankle pivots throughout. Maybe that Kang the Conqueror, but that was a Toy Biz re-release. That Ben Reilly's Spider-Man was awful. I remember Guardian and Vision and Crossbones were like the ones that I really wanted. Yeah, that Ultimate War Machine came out in this wave. But there was an Iron Man running change back then. But anyway, yeah, the Human Torch figure I thought was all right. It was just a lot of disappointment over here because the Build-A-Figure itself was about the same size as a regular figure. And I remember feeling just really disappointed in that, thinking that, hey, Crossbones and Ares are about the same size over here. What gives, Hasbro? What are you guys doing? That really upset me. And yeah, the lack of ankle pivot on these figures, just so gross. 2011, the return of Marvel Legends, announced by Hasbro at San Diego Comic-Con 2011. And it was anything but. Like, it was not the return of Marvel Legends. They said it was, but the first wave we got from them was the Arnim Zola wave. And I was like, all right, this cool Build-A-Figure, and a lot of disappointing figures in here. We got some Wrecking Crew figures, which I thought were the highlight. Spider-Mans were a letdown, to say the least. Especially that big time. We got the Bucky Cap figure, which is actually, at that time, I remember I really did like it. They had some reused body molds right there with the freaking Dakin figure. We had some cool shadowing effects and things like that going on here, but a lot of disappointing stuff. A lot of figures with no ankle pivots still. But the Arnim Zola figure itself was pretty good, and I felt like, okay, you know, I felt at that time, this is not the return of Marvel Legends, but I felt like it was coming back. It was a step in the right direction, I felt like, but we're still in a dark place. And then I felt like we regressed big time with the frickin' Rocket Raccoon Build-A-Figure wave. I was like, whoa. And again, that Arnim Zola was a little bit on the small side for a Build-A-Figure, but tiny Build-A-Figure? Oh, crap. And then we just get that re-released Spider-Man body. Again, we got the Blue Panther. And I guess, getting the Wrecker was cool. That was definitely the highlight of the wave for, I think, everybody, was that Wrecker figure right there. Other than that, everything else was kind of an easy pass. I mean, I remember I wanted the Jean Grey for the 90s look, but that's not a good figure at all, man. That Black Panther figure, it would have been cool if it come out with better paint apps, but for the most part, that was a very disappointing figure, and they later made good by re-releasing it with no crazy blue paint apps. But at the time, Hasbro was definitely still in the dark ages. They just didn't have their paint down. Overpainted big-time Spider-Man, overpainted Black Panther. So, still in the dark days of Marvel Legends, and then we get into the Jubilee Build-A-Figure wave, the TRU exclusive. It gave us a Wolverine over here with no interchangeable heads, just unmasked. I was like, okay, that Cyclops figure I wasn't a big fan of. Mine had bad paint apps. The Storm was pretty cool, I kind of still like that Storm. The Magneto, it was all right, but at the time I just didn't feel like it passed up the Series 3 Toy Biz Magneto. I still prefer that one over that Jubilee wave Magneto. Strife was definitely the highlight of that wave, and they're re-releasing it now, so there you go. But yeah, the Build-A-Figure Jubilee, getting another tiny Build-A-Figure. Jeez, that was so disappointing. And not even the version of Jubilee that anyone wanted. We all wanted the 90s version, and we waited so long to get a Jubilee figure, and then they gave us this. I was like, are you kidding me? Oh, God, I was really frustrated. Definitely a dark time of Marvel Legends, and I really think that that may have been the end of it. Now, this wave came out in 2014. And I think 2014, for me personally, marks the end of the dark days of Marvel Legends. However, because later that year, we got two waves that really turned things around for me, that made me happy. I forgot to mention that they did have the Avengers wave that came out in 2012. That was a better wave, but still some really disappointing things with that, like no angle pivots and any of that. Anyway, we got the Groot Build-A-Figure wave, which I thought was a very cool wave. And I actually think before that we had gotten the Winter Soldier wave. But both of these waves I'm going to discuss over here. I remember seeing that Nova figure, and that got me really excited. That got me hella stoked, man. At the time, the faces on these figures were pretty bad. They all had like doll faces. But at that time, I remember liking them, and they were better than some of the previous figures that we'd gotten. But that Nova right there, that was a sign for the return of Marvel Legends for me, for real. I really, really liked that Nova figure. And yeah, it had Bucky Cap parts, but at the time, Bucky Cap hadn't been reused to the extent it's been reused now. So, yeah, that Nova figure I thought was amazing. And I also really loved the Mandroid Build-A-Figure wave. Also, 2014, this wave came out. We got some key army builders here with the Hydra soldiers and the AIM soldiers. Now, it was unfortunate that they had the running change thing going on. I remember being very frustrated with that. We got a really solid Captain America figure. I think that's the Marvel Now Captain America, if I remember right. We have a Build-A-Figure that's way bigger than any of the other figures from the wave. The Red Skull was dope. Winter Soldier. The movie figures came out really good. And I thought it was a great combination of movie figures and comic figures. I'm happier that Hasbro's kind of separating them now, but at that time, and for the longest time with Marvel Legends, they were already they were mixed together. That's how it was. But nowadays, I think it's better that they separate movie figures from the waves, from the comic figures. Make them separate waves so we could, for people that don't want to collect MCU figures, they don't have to get the Build-A-Figure pieces. But yeah, that Mandroid figure still holds up, man. I still think that's a good Build-A-Figure. People are speculating that we're going to get a yellow or gold version re-released, especially, with Hasbro, giving us that head sculpt and with the Hulk, with the 20th anniversary Hulk figure. So that may come out again in yellow, and people picking up that that Buzz Lightyear movie Mandroid figure thing. So yeah, this right here was a great wave. I was really happy, and I feel like that kind of launched us into some better waves moving forward, and I feel like we've been in a good spot. To say that we're in the new dark ages of Marvel Legends, though, when I look at this wave right here, these are like the 2 latest Marvel Legends waves that I have, and I know the new Disney Plus wave is shipping out right now. Mine's on its way, but this wave right here isn't awful to me so far. I have yet to review all the figures. You know, I only reviewed Kate Bishop just yesterday. Check out that review if you haven't already. But I wouldn't say this is awful. You have a fairly large Build-A-Figure. You have a large She-Hulk. You know, whether or not you like the Disney Plus series and you hate feminism or women involved in your comic books, you know, regardless, the figures right here, which is like gotten really weird, by the way. But anyway, the thing is that these figures aren't bad. We have pinless double jointed elbows on the She-Hulk. You know, that Kate Bishop figure is amazing. I really like it. I can't wait to open my Moon Knight figure. That's on its way. So yeah, this is not awful. But if you hate the MCU figures, if that's not for you, let's look at the controller Build-A-Figure wave. This is not the best wave from Hasbro Marvel Legends at all, by any means. This is actually probably, and I gotta review that Thor figure. That'll be the next Marvel Legends figure that I review. It will be the Thor, and then I'll review controller shortly after that. So it's kind of weird that I'm talking about this wave in retrospect and I haven't reviewed all of it yet. But the fact of the matter is that we do have a chunky Thor figure over here. That looks very good. So far, that's one of my favorite figures from this wave. And we have a chunky, good-sized Build-A-Figure over here. And we have some re-release figures here, but I don't think this wave or the last wave are anywhere near as bad as some of the bad figures that we've gotten from the dark days of Marvel Legends. I just don't think we're there yet. Now, you could tell me, hey, what about that HasLab engine of Faceplant? Well, that's what I think that was. That was just a big oopsie. And I really think their biggest mistake over at Hasbro was picking that particular project. There are so many other projects that I've heard fans mention, and that engine of Vengeance, Robbie Reyes, was on the top of nobody's list. So I feel like corporate made that choice. I don't know where the hell that came from, but I don't remember anybody talking about, oh yeah, I cannot wait for Hasbro to do a HasLab Robbie Reyes. Like, nobody was saying that, bro. So why did you make that choice? I can't. Anyway, it's over. All right. Hasbro's had their finger on the pulse as far as fans' desires and how people are pleased with the line. The fact is that it takes a while to make figures, so they could read the room, but it will take a year or so for us to find out whether or not they're reading the room. You know what I mean? I think that's how it is over there. It takes a while to develop these things. So I think we're going to see some cool stuff coming out in the future. I'm not really too bummed out about it. I hope that they don't release any other figures that are easy for me to pass on, you know. But, you know, as far as the line goes, I feel like it does have one foot in the door to some dark days, and I think they could take that foot out. So step back into the golden age of Marvel Legends Hasbro, and let's, you know, stay focused on making some dope-ass figures, you know. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think we're in the dark days or the dark ages of Marvel Legends? Or do you think we're still in that golden age? I feel like we're easing our way out of the golden age right now, especially because I've been able to not buy Marvel Legends or some Marvel Legends and just be okay with it. So I want to know what you think. Let me know. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. All that shit helps because, yeah, without, you know, dedicated viewers, the channel can't continue on, and appreciate you by showing your dedication by hitting the like button. Anyway, stay tuned. Hopefully I have a Transformers review. I have that Orion Pax Alpha Trion 2-pack that I want to talk about, and I also have that Thor figure I want to do a review on. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Shot.